Hi everyone, Shy here. I hope all of you are doing good. Welcome to another new video. SpongeBob SquarePants is a popular American animated comedy series that follows the escapades of SpongeBob and his underwater pals in Bikini Bottom. Even if you're a die-hard fan, there may still be aspects of the show and its characters that remain unknown to you. From the identity of Pearl's mother to hidden messages about global warming. Here are some undisclosed secrets about SpongeBob that Nickelodeon has kept hidden. Number 1. It's about global warming. SpongeBob SquarePants could just be an innocent TV show about a sea sponge that lives in a pineapple under the sea. But could it actually also be about global warming? Some viewers seem to think so. Many people seem to think that because SpongeBob looks like an ordinary kitchen sponge rather than a sea sponge, he represents waste and pollution that ultimately ends up in the ocean. It's not really a far-fetched theory since there are about 5.25 trillion pieces of trash in the sea. Then there's Mr. Krabs, who only seems to care about money. Some people theorize that he represents large corporations responsible for pollution and harm who only care about making money. Even Patrick Star might stand for something bigger. Some viewers think that his living under a rock could stand for the general public that doesn't pay attention to what's happening around them. Then there's Squidward, who stands for liberalism. He's passionate about music, art, and culture, but his friends and acquaintances ignore his interests, and he's forced to work for a big corporation. You might even see a message hidden in Sandy Cheeks. She is undoubtedly intelligent and has lots of advanced technology, but she's portrayed as what some people say are stereotypical Texans, too interested in violence and living a lifestyle that's only beneficial to her and no one else. Number 2. Krabby Patties are made from crabs. You wouldn't believe it, but people actually get into heated debates online, particularly on Reddit, about the contents of a Krabby Patty. It looks like a meat patty, but when was the last time you saw farmers grazing cattle at the bottom of the ocean? Try never. So could there be some truth in the idea that Krabby Patties contain crab? I mean, it's in the name, and it might also explain why Mr. Krabs is the only permanent crab character apart from the odd visit by his mother. Crabs are abundant in the ocean, but not in Bikini Bottom. It's a bit fishy, don't you think? Some people also find it suspicious that Mr. Krabs tries so hard to keep the secret formula away from plankton. Will he discover something that could destroy his entire business, or is it purely to ensure the chum bucket doesn't become his competition? You might even recall a special Halloween episode in which Plankton turned the chum bucket into the Krusty Krab and said that Krabby Patties contain fish meat. That would mean customers are eating fish, which would be cannibalism. Many viewers were eager to remind people that it is just a cartoon and they were probably just beef patties, but we might never know for sure. Number 3, moving on the main characters are addicted to drugs. I'd like to take a moment to introduce you all to my 7 main characters. You can support my content by getting your favorite products also represent 7 by simply joining my channel. Possibly, your support means a lot to me. TV show, so I highly doubt it. But if we could just ponder the idea for a moment, you might see that the concept does make a little bit of sense in an exaggerated war on drugs kind of way. SpongeBob has an incredible imagination to the point where it's almost like he's on magic mushrooms. I mean, who's to say he's not on shrooms? Then there's Mr. Krabs and Mrs. Puff, both of which viewers speculate are on cocaine. Side effects of this drug are irritation and paranoia, and both display these often. Mr. Krabs is always irritated when it comes to money, and Mrs. Puff is always irritated when it comes to dealing with SpongeBob. Mrs. Puff also always has PTSD-like reactions to SpongeBob's driving, which could be signs of tweaking. Tweaking is a form of paranoia associated with cocaine use and withdrawal. Mr. Krabs also displays paranoia when Plankton tries to steal his secret formula, but to be fair, he is always trying to steal it. And when you look at Squidward's behaviors like avoiding eye contact, poor work performance, deception, and mood swings, you might think he's on heroin. Patrick's laziness, passion for food, and slow speaking might make you assume he's a huge fan of marijuana. The only character who appears to be clean is Sandy. Number 4. SpongeBob is a veteran with PTSD. Before SpongeBob was seemingly dumbed down in some of the later episodes, many viewers speculated that he could have been a war veteran with PTSD sent home to start living life to the fullest. To be fair, it's a bit of a stretch, but some of the things he does do make sense. For example, he has a very regular morning routine, which often involves him waking up at the same time each morning to his giant horn alarm. This regular routine and even the type of alarm would be expected in the military. The person who came up with this theory also suggested that as he wears the same clothes every day, it's a bit like a soldier having a uniform. But then that would be the case for pretty much all cartoon characters. They all wear the same clothing like in The Simpsons or Family Guy, for example. But then, pay attention to how he responds to authority figures. SpongeBob talks as if he's always answering to his superior. When he applied for the job of fry cook at the Krusty Krab, he said, "Permission to come aboard, Captain." SpongeBob is also obsessed with karate, so could he possibly be trained in hand-to-hand combat? I mean, anything is possible. Number 5. The show is a metaphor for World War II Germany. Most people would think you have way too much time on your hands if you thought SpongeBob SquarePants was a metaphor for World War II Germany. But should we at least hear the viewer out? Someone by the name of DogTeam232 posted a theory on Reddit about how SpongeBob SquarePants truly is a metaphor for World War II Germany, with each character representing a different portion of the war. They said that Mr. Krabs represented capitalism in all ways, with his love for money and low salary for those working for him. His daughter, Pearl, is the living symbol of greed. SpongeBob allegedly represents the Third Reich and their belief in having a pure Aryan race. He has blue eyes and blonde hair. Well, he's a sponge, so you know, I wouldn't really say he has blonde hair. Squidward is a representation of upper-class Europe because he always thinks he's better than everyone else and is pretty fancy. Although he could also be interpreted as the Jewish people persecuted by the Germans, which might explain why SpongeBob continually pesters him. And what about Plankton? Well, he's Mr. Krabs' arch nemesis. If Mr. Krabs represents capitalism, Plankton could be Soviet Russia, communism. They too hate capitalism. Plankton stealing the secret formula could be a metaphor for Russia trying to sabotage American society. Honestly, this theory is a rabbit hole. Number 6. SpongeBob and Squidward's homes are remnants of a Ticky bar. SpongeBob SquarePants characters live in some pretty unique homes. Squidward lives in a stone head, SpongeBob lives in a pineapple, and Patrick lives under a rock. But pay particular attention to SpongeBob and Squidward's homes, and you might think they look eerily similar to what you'd find at a Ticky bar. Ticky bars have paper lanterns, faux flowers, stone Ticky heads, coconuts, pineapples, and flaming cocktails. Some people on Reddit theorize that a ship with a Ticky bar on board sank, and its decorations and structures ended up on the bottom of the ocean. SpongeBob and Squidward then claimed them as their homes. It's a pretty far-off theory, but there have been a couple of Ticky-like episodes, so maybe Nickelodeon was trying to tell us something. Number 7. Squidward and Squilliam are bitter ex-boyfriends. Has anyone ever thought about Squidward and Squilliam's unusual relationship? One Redditor by the name of Please Don't Ask for Pics wondered whether the pair might have been lovers. Sure would explain a lot. What we know immediately is that Squidward and Squilliam met in high school, were in the same band class, and always wanted to impress each other. The first real introduction to Squilliam's character is when he phoned Squidward to taunt him about not having a band. Squidward's character is very much based on not caring what other people think and being quite apathetic. But when he's on the phone with Squilliam, he's frantic, stuttering, lying to impress him, and seems very self-conscious. Squilliam also taunts Squidward by saying he's living Squidward's dreams, so they must have been close enough at one point for Squilliam to know what Squidward's dreams were. Then there's the way he speaks to him and touches him. Squilliam calls Squidward Squiddy and pinches his cheek. I don't know about you, but there seems to be way more between those two than meets the eye, and I'm not surprised that Redditors think the same thing. So, that was all for today. I hope you have watched the video up to this timestamp. Make sure to press the like button if it amazed you. Press the subscribe button if you still haven't subscribed to the channel, as it's totally free. You can follow me on all social media platforms. All links are given in the description. You can also watch other cool stuff. The playlist link is also mentioned in the description. I will catch you up soon in the next video. Till then, peace out.